On the air here. My name's Tom Hart. I'm the Vice President of Operations here at VictorOps.
My name's Eric Freiberg, and I am an Operations Specialist here at VictorOps.
So we want to start off by wishing everybody a happy Veterans Day. If you are a veteran, thank you very much for your service. We really appreciate it. It is a beautiful day here in Boulder, Colorado. It's very cold and snowy. Every Tuesday at 2 p.m. Mountain, we go through, the ops team here goes through a general product overview. We call it our Tuesdays at 2. And so Eric and I are going to go through the basic features and functionality of the VictorOps platform. So at this point in time, we're going to start a screen share, so bear with us for a sec. Okay, so you should see the demo screen up in front of you, or the demo account. This is our web client, so the same experience that you see here is reflective in our native iOS and Android client. It's just a lot easier for Eric and I to go through the features and functionality through the web user interface. So before we start getting into the features and functionality, a little bit of background in terms of how the product was born. Myself, along with the co-founders of the organization, have been in the Boulder startup community here for 15 plus years, always in an operational capacity myself, and then technical roles throughout our leadership team. Through that process, we've supported a number of high availability telecommunications platforms that were globally available, and had to maintain 5 nines uptime on those platforms for years on end. And myself managing a 24/7 global support team as well. Through that process and that experience, we recognized that there really wasn't a solution out there that allowed an organization to come together in a single place to support and maintain their infrastructure. The closest you would get is maybe a hangout or a conference call or something of that nature, but everybody was looking at different pieces of data in relation to your infrastructure. So at a macro level, what we're trying to do here is bring all of your infrastructure together in one single pane of glass so that your entire organization has situational awareness as it relates to the well-being of your infrastructure, and by default, the well-being of your customers. So with that theme in mind, we're going to start going into the features and functionality, and Eric's going to start on the left-hand side of your screen here, which is what we call our people pane.
Yeah, so this is our people pane here. Here listed, we have all of the members of our organization. When you go to the top up here, you see an oak leaf next to just a few of these people's names. That's to denote that they are currently on call. To find out what team they're on call for, you actually look, and whatever's written in orange here is the team that they're currently on call for. Now, when you jump right below them here, there's 3 individuals that have green dots next to their name. That means that these 3 individuals are currently present in the app. They're paying attention. They're logging in on their iOS, Android, or on the web client, and just taking a look at what's going on. They are not on call, but they are just effectively paying attention. This is super important because, based on the collaborative nature of the platform, if something, happens and you guys are trying to work an issue to ground, these people might very well be really good resources to pull into the firefight, reach out to them and have them help you out. You can click on anybody's names here and get their contact information, email, phone number for anybody there. You can also send them a private message, kind of a little sidebar communication there, in addition to taking them on call. A lot of us have different things that we do outside of work. Tom has kids that are constantly involved in sports, and we all, ski and snowboard and stuff like that. So if you're going to be out of pocket for a couple hours, you can reach out to your coworkers and say, hey, I got such and such going on. Can somebody take on call for me?
And it's easy to do that to, Eric and I use it all the time off hours, so you can send an @ reference to a team member, and what that's going to do is send a push notification out to their phone. So I can append a append a message into what I send out. Whoop, having difficulty typing today. But as you can see, you can type a little message in there, and that would shoot over to, as you can probably hear, that shoots over to mobile device there, so you can pull folks in. You can also do at references in the timeline, and what that does is the same thing to an entire team. So you can, if you're really in the midst of a firefight and you don't know exactly who to get a hold of, or you simply need the database team, for example, to get involved in an issue, you can send an at reference, and that'll send a push notification out to the entire database team or to the entire organization if you wanted to. Anything else you wanted to
this is just the left side, the people pane. It's supposed to be very visible and transparent as to who's available and who is currently on call, and kind of know where everything's at as far as that goes.
Good stuff. So I'm moving into the center of the screen, which is what we call our timeline, and we have no shame in admitting that this is the look and feel that you experience with Twitter. So we're looking to introduce that same sort of social media concept into infrastructure management. So when you're on your iOS or Android device away from the office, at a swipe, you can quickly see exactly what's going on within your infrastructure, what alerts have been triggered, who is on call, who's working the particular issue. When we do software deployments here at VictorOps, all of that information goes into our timeline. So the operations team, Eric and I, as well as the rest of the ops team, can see exactly when the guys are doing a deployment into our infrastructure. We can chime in as need be. And again, just full situational awareness. Eric, do you want to send a couple of alerts into the...
Yeah, let me go ahead and fire those in here.
Give us 1 second. We'll send a couple sample alerts into the demo account. So you can see that, incident 3916, you can see that there is at the top, and you can see exactly who it's trying to page based on the escalation policies that are established that we'll go into here in just a second. So again, full situational awareness. And then on the right-hand side of the screen, you can, what we call our incident pane, you can see exactly what incidents are triggered. So currently, based on what Eric sent in through that demo script, there are 4 triggered incidents. You can drill into the incident and see exactly all of the forensics associated to that particular incident. This allows you, again, to just drill in. If you do an at reference from in here, this is pretty slick. So you can send an at reference, and it'll automatically append the incident number to that message. So why that's handy is, I just sent a note to Nate saying, hey, I need help. It'll automatically alert him with the specific incident 3913. So when he enters the app, he can quickly get to that incident and start working it to ground with myself. You can also reroute incidents. This is pretty handy if you have a larger organization where you have the concept of a NOC or a central team that's responsible for handling and distributing incidents. So you can see through this reroute option, you get an incident. If you're in the NOC, you know that it needs to go to the DevOps team. You can select the DevOps team, and that will then evoke their paging policy and start paging them of the incident. Going back to my earlier example there, you can also, if you're in the NOC, append a note to that saying, something like, hey, this looks really critical. Can you guys jump on this? Something like that. So it's a nice feature to have available. I'm going to close out of that. Another feature here is... Yeah,
additionally, not only can you, act and resolve each of these incidents as standalone incidents, if you have something, really, blow up and you just need to stop being paged and you're receiving hundreds of incidents, a minute, you can actually act all right here, which is what we'll do just to close this off right now, which will stop your paging. Also, if you know that you're going to be, taking a server offline or something like that, where it's going to then invoke your paging policy and you're going to get blown up, we also have something called maintenance mode. You can enter maintenance mode here. Now, what's important about this is that this will stop your personal paging policy. You will not be page for anything that's going on. You will be alerted that you've gone into maintenance mode, which is what you're hearing right now. But the main timeline here is still going to receive all the data that's pulled in. So you're still going to have a record of anything that goes on during maintenance mode. You just will not be paged for it. And if you enter it by, on accident, you can really quickly exit right back out into normal usage.
So that's a look at maintenance mode. And the other feature that we want to touch on before we move on here. We just exited maintenance mode in that sense. You can, in your settings for the iOS and Android native apps, we have a unique set of sounds, if you will, for incidents. So you can separate the critical incidents and really get a loud siren, as you probably heard in the background there. And there's a host of other sound selections that you can do as well. So it truly stands out, and you need to pay attention to it and jump in and take action. So I've just highlighted the filters here. So as I'm talking, hopefully you could see the options that you have. So if you're in the midst of chaos, which happens to all of us, you can dive in here and filter down to get to exactly what you're looking for in the timeline. And again, the incident pane on the right here is also really handy to drill in and find specific incidents. I forgot to touch on, you can obviously highlight into just your incidents or your team's incidents. So it's kind of a handy way to kind of drill in a little bit, especially if things are getting a little noisy. So from here, we're going to go into settings and our calendaring options, and I'll walk you through briefly kind of some of the options that are available from a scheduling perspective. We spent a fair amount of time over the last few months working on our calendaring options. We have a variety of, full flexibility. I think Eric scrolled down to a follow the sun rotation, and you can see that in this example, we got a US, UK, India, Japan, truly a follow the sun type of concept. Most of our clients are the more traditional, one person is on call for a given team for a 7-day period, 24/7. And then they pass the baton, if you will, on a Monday morning at an on-call meeting. That's super simple for us to accommodate. Myself, Eric, the rest of the ops team, we're always here to assist in setting up your routines and your schedules. We enjoy working with our customers, and the nice thing is, once you set up your on-call rotations, for the most part, you're off to the races. Mm-hmm. One thing at the bottom of the screen here, just to highlight, is scheduled overrides. So Eric touched on the fact that you can do a take on call from the timeline, which is kind of the free form or informal way where I can send a quick at reference to Eric and say, hey, can you take on call while I'm at my kid's hockey game? He can jump in, grab that, take on call, then I can go back in and take it from when I'm done with my son's game. If you're in a more formal setting where you have a true on-call meeting with your organization, you can go in and say, okay, who's going to be, who's on call and who's going to be out of town while they're on call or at a family function or something like that. And you can actually schedule that in advance. And that's what the scheduled override feature offers you. From here, we'll just drill in quickly on teams just to show you what their escalation policy looks like. You can see that you can set up as many steps in an escalation policy as you'd like. You can also set up steps within steps. So you can have immediately notify, in this case, myself, and then you could also say immediately notify Eric or whatever it may be. And these rules can go on and on and on. You can build as many as you would like to build. And also evoke webhooks, obviously notify a user. Here's some of the options that are available for you in terms of what you can do in an escalation.
And just to quickly note, a lot of this stuff is obviously highly customizable based on your organization, your team, and however you need things to be run around your organization. So if you guys have any further questions or need assistance in your trial and getting this stuff set up, feel free to reach out to us, support@VictorOps.com. We're all available to help out. We do this all the time. Yep. We are happy to help get you guys set up and running.
Yeah, it's a good point. And like I said before, once you get your teams and your rotations set up, yeah, it's pretty rare that you have to go back into the administrative console. You're primarily always using the main timeline that we just went through. On the user front, just quickly here, you can see that this is where your individual users reside. If you drill into a particular user, you can see they can set up all of their contact information and then their personal paging policy. So in terms of how they want to be notified when they're on call, through which device and which methodology. We allow you to contact folks via push notification, email, SMS, and phone. We currently allow you the capability to acknowledge and resolve incidents via the SMS messaging that you receive, which has proved to be a pretty handy feature for our end users.
And all of those contact methods are available at no additional charge.
Yeah, that's a good point. Even if you're an international organization outside of the U.S., we do not charge for the transport of alerts. We figure that that's a cost that we will take on our side. So I jumped into our integrations page. You can see on the right-hand side is a list of some of the monitoring solutions, the primary monitoring solutions that are out there in the industry that we have formal integrations with. When and where we can, we have bi-directional integrations set up. Nagios is a good example, where if you act in Nagios and or in VictorOps, both platforms it is bi-directional. So you don't have to go into two places to act and resolve incidents. We're constantly working on integrations. If you're on this demo, you are probably a DevOps or IT professional, and you recognize that there are a myriad of different monitoring solutions available. So we do 3-week sprints here at VictorOps, and virtually every sprint we conduct, we introduce a new integration. You can also reference our knowledge base. Nate is a member of our ops team. He's currently out at AWS, otherwise he'd be on with us, but he's spent a lot of time on the knowledge base, and so there's great information available for you here. And as Eric has stated, and I'll reiterate, the ops support team at support@victorops.com is always available to assist you, and we sincerely love talking to our customers. So anytime you want to reach out, please feel free to do so.
Yeah, and this is always going to be a pretty well up-to-date, we update this all the time, pretty well up-to-date list of all the integrations that we currently have, the formal integrations. You can drill in on any of these, and we're going to provide whatever information we have available for how to get that piped into your portal.
So that's a quick look at integrations. From here, we're going to jump into reports. You can see in front of you just our basic suite of reports. I should point out that we're getting ready to introduce a host of new reports. The easiest way to define our current reports is that they're at the organization level, at a macro level, if you will. What the new suite of reports that we'll be introducing will get you down to the individual level. So, for example, you'll be able to run a report that shows who was on call for the last 7 days, how many incidents they fielded, how many were critical, what their mean time to acknowledge, mean time to resolve, all of those key performance indicators, those KPIs, will be available down at a very granular level, and I believe those reports will be available in the next few weeks. So what you see in front of you is just a start at our reporting, but we have big plans in place for additional reporting. We'll touch on incident frequency, which has proved to be a handy report that we generated a little while back. What this allows you to do is take a look at the incidents within your organization and do some fine tuning as a result.
Yeah, if you have a particular piece of hardware that's being especially noisy and kind of creating itself to be an outlier, you can highlight it here. It's going to show up from top to bottom, with the most noisy up at the top, obviously, and the least noisy down at the bottom. As you hover over that particular one, it's going to show you the details of the last alert that you received for that particular piece of infrastructure. Like Tom said, this is specifically used for fine-tuning and just understanding, what areas of your infrastructure need to kind of be brought back into the proper parameters.
Yeah, and sometimes it indicates that you've got a piece of hardware or software that's got a problem that needs attention. So you can see in the center there's just some key performance indicator reports that we have available. We'll concentrate on the far left here, which is our postmortem reporting or retrospective. Myself specifically, I think we did the math on it, and Nate was 9. I think Eric was maybe 10 or 11 when I first went on call. So I've been on call for 15 plus years, and during that time have always had to adhere to service level agreements on behalf of our customer base and internally as well. We had our own internal service agreements that we had to communicate out to the executive team, et cetera. So having to create a postmortem report in light of a full-out outage or an incident has always been an extremely painful thing to do, because you're pulling data from all different areas and trying to munge it together in some form that looks presentable. So what we've done here with the postmortem report is, if you have your monitoring solutions, including your trouble tickets, integrated into the VictorOps platform, you can see at a glance what transpired during the selected period of time that Eric put in a date and a time. And you can drill into this report and get rid of stuff that's irrelevant to the postmortem, as Eric is doing right now. You can also add notes. So at particular timestamps, this is where the incident took place. You can append a quick note to your report. When you save this report, it's available to you in your VictorOps instance, and it's also available to you in PDF format, so you can send it out internally or externally via email. And it's it's a graceful looking report that our customers have found extremely useful. So with that, we'll go back. I think, Eric, have we touched on everything? I think we've gone through it.
So.
Yeah. Why don't we see if we can stop screen sharing? Bear with us. Eric and I we are not professional demonstrators, if you will. Okay, good deal. Well, we got it back. So we appreciate taking the time to get on with us. We, like I said, we do this every Tuesday at 2. We're always available via support@victorops.com. If you need to get a hold of us, please do. You can always set up a 14-day free trial at VictorOps.com. We encourage you to do so, and you have our full support throughout that entire free trial span. So reach out if you need anything. Like I said, we'd love to talk to our customers. So with that, happy Veterans Day, and thanks for coming on.
Thank you.